TikTok Stop, an Alexa skill by LAKEY. So, what is TikTok Stop? TikTok Stop is a game in which you need to keep time. The game starts with a random target number which is told to the players. A buzzer goes off and the players have to guess when the target number of seconds has elapsed. The closest player wins. The game is great for parties and kids because it's quick to play and easy to learn. How does the game work? First of all, the game tells the players when it wants them to press the button. The buzzer sounds and it collects the times when the player presses their buttons. The game takes all of the times it has collected, and it finds the difference between their times and the target time. It determines which time was closest to the target time and declares that player as the winner. Now that we know how the core game works, we can explore the dialogue flow of the game. In order to invoke the skill, the user says, "Alexa, launch TikTok Stop." The game plays an intro theme-like sound and asks if they would like to play, in case they've accidentally invoked the skill. In this case, the user will respond with a yes. She asks if everybody knows how to play. This specific user and their friends have played before, so they respond with a yes. Alexa initiates roll call, which is when the players press their respective buttons. This is an integral part of the game, because it wakes up the buttons and it counts how many players there are. If the buttons are not woken up from sleep, the time collection will be inaccurate, as the buttons have a delay in sending their report upon wake up. It's time to play. The game generates a random number between 5 and 15 seconds, which is told to the players. This number is called the target number. In this case, the target number is 7. Alexa tells the players the target number and asks if they are ready to begin. The user says yeah, and the game plays a buzzer sound. It is important that the buzzer sound is exactly 2.5 seconds long, because the game needs to generate a target timestamp factoring in the time when the game started, the target time, and the time it takes for the buzzer to sound. This target timestamp is used as a comparison for the button presses to find out how close they were to the target time. The buzzer marks the beginning of the game. You can see the timer in the bottom. The player's button presses are shown along with the target time. Now for a quick look into how the game scores. The players press their buttons, shown by the callouts Player 1 and Player 2. The target time is shown as well. Using the target timestamp it generated before, the game compares the target timestamp to the timestamp of each player's first echo button press. The score is calculated, which represents how many milliseconds that player was off by. The game now compares the absolute value of the scores of each player. In this case, a lower score is better. The game chooses the lowest score and records that they are the winner. In this case, the absolute value of player 2's score, 173, is less than the absolute value of player 1's score, 270. Player 2 is recorded as the winner of this match. The game has calculated the scores and now is ready to declare the winner. Alexa states the winner's button is flashing and states how far off they were. She then asks the user if they would like to play again. The user responds with no. Alexa says goodbye and ends the session. You may wonder, why doesn't Alexa just tell the user who won? And that's a good question. Alexa does not know who is who, and the only identifier of the player is the button they are using. At one point, I coded the skill so that Alexa would tell the user the winning button's ID. Let's see how that turned out.
Time's up. Time to see who was the closest. Amazon 1.8
Needless to say, this was a bad idea. Now, how did this idea originate? It started a few months ago. I was eating lunch with my friends talking about how parents have this terrible sense of time. Like, my parents would take me grocery shopping, telling me it would only be 2 minutes, and it would turn into a 2-hour ordeal. We were just joking around about those scenarios. The idea had eventually emerged that we should train ourselves to be accurate timekeepers. At the time, almost everyone had a digital watch, and almost everyone had a stopwatch in that watch. I thought of an idea for a game in which you would be told a certain time, and you have to tell a timekeeper when to start and stop a stopwatch to produce that target time. At the time, I had zero programming experience, so I just held on that idea for later. Fast forward a few years, and I came along this contest. I started to think about ideas. My first idea was a reaction time game, but many skills like that have already been published to the store. I thought of a trivia game, but I wanted to A, code my own game, and B, keep it original. The latter ruled out trivia and a reaction time game. Then it hit me. That game from a few years back, TikTok Stop. It was fun to play, simple enough for a voice-only interaction model, and it was perfect for echo buttons. That was how the idea for the game came about. You may notice that Alexa talks like a game show host, and that's intentional. I wanted it to be lighthearted and game showy. Now that I had a good idea, I first started to lay out how the game would work. I created a flowchart in my notebook with a draft dialogue flow. You can pause the video here and read it, and you may notice some differences between this chart and the final product's flow. The changes here are to make the skill flow better and make my skill easier to use. Okay, it's time to get coding. I started with the basic Hello World skill to learn how to use Amazon Web Services and the Alexa Skills Kit. Once I got that down, I started to work on the actual skill code. In order to learn more advanced skill functions like session attributes and the Echo Buttons game engine, I read the code from other people's submissions and the example fact skill that the Alexa developers provide. Shout out to them for that, that was really helpful for me. Over the course of a month, I was able to get a working prototype and finally something I could submit for an actual skill, and I submitted it. Oh. Oops. So, yeah, my skill wasn't certified the first time. Why, you may ask? I didn't label the cards right. Easy fix, just a few lines of code. And it got certified. Now I can brag to my friends that I coded an Alexa skill from scratch. It's nice to know that I made this, and it works. And with that, I guess that marks the end of our journey. I put in a lot of time into this project over 2 months, and I'm extremely proud of it. I learned a lot, and I hope through this video you learned along with me. Feel free to ask me anything about this project in the comments of the video. All of the code is posted on my Hackster project page. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you next time.